Hi everyone, and welcome to day 9 in our Rust adventure. This is Advent of Rust, and today we're building authentication on top of our existing web API. So let's dive into the code. First, we will need to add a new crate. The crate is called actix-web-httpauth to deal with authentication. So we are going to use the bearer type, so authorization header with a bearer token. So actix-web-httpauth would help to intercept the request and check whether or not there is a token in that request. So let's add this one. So once again, cargo add actix-web-httpauth. So cool, we have our new crate. So now we will use it as this. So it's gonna be auth HTTP authentication. We will create a bearer. So this crate is supporting basic authentication and bearer authentication. So we want a bearer authentication, and we are going to create a new module to talk about authentication. We can import it here. And it's gonna be auth, let's say, validate. We are going to create a method in this module. It's gonna be a public async function validates, and for now we're doing nothing in this function. Obviously, this function requires some arguments. So if we have a look at this, bearer token is using a request and a bearer authentication object. So let's copy that. And this is exactly what we are going to use this. So we have a request and we have a bearer object. Cool. Let's import those. This is coming from our new crates, bearer auth, actix-web. Perfect. Cool. So now we have our validate function, which does nothing, but that's the start. And if we look at that, the result type is not okay. So let's have a look. This is returning a result. And sorry. And the result should be a request and an error. So let's use this. It's going to return a result of either the service request or an error. So error needs to be imported. It's going to be this one. So cool. Now I have something. Maybe we can return panic not implemented for now. That's fine. So if we go back to our main, cool, authentication is now working. So what we need to do now is to use this interceptor. So this is acting as a middleware. So the requests come in, we can inspect whether or not it has like valid HTTP authorization headers and check for an access token. So what we can do here is, instead of using our service directly like that, what we can do, we can scope our service to /pizza. For this scope, we have a service, which is get pizza. And we can wrap this with our new interceptor. So make sure you import this. So this means that each time I go to /pizza and whatever service there will be there, so it can be get pizza, create pizza, delete pizza, and so on. Every time we will go through this middleware to check whether or not I have authentication information. So obviously this service, it's not /pizza anymore because we're already in the path /pizza. So it's just a blank path. And maybe we want to rename this as pizza service just to make sure that's a bit better named. Obviously, we have tests, so we can still run it. It's not passing anymore because now we are checking for /pizza. So maybe what we want to do is to do this. And let's remove the authentication for now. In our test, it should pass. Cool. So small refactoring, but our test is still passing. So once again, in our main function, we now have a new authenticator middleware to detect whether or not my pizza has been authenticated. So if we run it, if I open a new terminal, and if I do curl localhost 8000 pizza, and if I output the status code, now I'm unauthorized. So that's great. This is exactly what we want. So first, there is nothing we can do. We don't have any authentication headers, so that's not okay. If we pass some authentication headers, let's say authorization, it's going to be a bearer and like a random token. It fails because obviously I panic here. So maybe we can just return OK for now. Request. So basically, the middleware will intercept the request and just say, OK, that's fine. I do not need to check anything, just be authenticated. So if I rerun this, and if I curl it now the status code is 200. So that's great. Maybe what we can do now is to say we don't have anything to check, but we want to return an error every time. So let's create our tuple. It's going to be, let's say, unauthorized and authorized. Could not find the token, the requests, and we can error our tuple. So now if we rerun it, let's run it. And if we curl localhost 8000 pizza with the authorization header bearer, could not find the token. And the error code is 401, which is unauthorized. So yeah, congrats for today. This is it. We successfully add a middleware to detect whether or not there is access token. So obviously tomorrow we will see how to generate and how to authenticate via an access token. So thank you so much. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.